at the start of 2024, I changed my life. I started going to the gym and eating healthy and doing sports. And after 6 months of this, I decided to go all in on talking to people. I'd literally call my friend. It would be a cold night and I'd be walking around the city centre and I'd try to look for people to talk to, and my friend would be cheering for me, telling me to go up and talk to these strangers who I was too nervous to talk to be honest. And it would be extremely nerve-wracking and I really didn't know how to do it. When I did finally rack up the confidence to do so, a lot of the times I'd have a negative encounter. They'd look at me like I'm some weirdo, they'd act sarcastic and insult me in some way, and it was extremely difficult because it was soul-shattering. Imagine finally mustering up the confidence to go out of your comfort zone and talk to somebody who you don't know, risk the rejection, risk people seeing you and laughing at you, risk your reputation just to talk to this person who you don't even know. You don't even know if you like them. You do this and you get completely humiliated. Imagine how damaging that is to your psyche. If that happens to you, it'll be so much more difficult to stay consistent on this journey of learning how to talk to people. So in this video, I want to show you the right way to learn how to socialize so this doesn't happen to you. Because there's a way you can socialize just to learn how to be social. And there's a way you can socialize that will allow you to not necessarily completely rid yourself of all of these negative situations, but to avoid being completely humiliated like I was. So I want to help you get from level 0 of being social, where you can't talk to anyone, to level 2, where you can talk to any man at any time, no matter what. The first thing that I recommend to being social is just progressive overloading. Initially, when you're learning how to be social, you probably shouldn't do what I did, which is just go up and talk to strangers. Because it's very difficult to go from this level where you just can't talk to anyone to immediately going up to some guy who you've never met, or some girl, which is even more difficult, you've never met, in front of tons of people who are watching you, who may insult you for it, and then start a conversation, risking them humiliating you or being sarcastic or something. If you progressively overload, which is kind of a gym term, where you start with the empty barbell, like let's say you're doing the bench press exercise, you start with the empty barbell first. You don't just go like to 100 kg. You do the empty barbell, then after you go to failure enough times, so you build muscle. And then you add like 5 kg plates, and you do that again, and you build more muscle, and now you can do 10 kg. And before you know it, you're at 100 kg bench press. You need to do this with socializing. You don't just go from being the social autist. You don't just go from being the social NPC where you can't talk to anyone to going to like talking to your crush in school in front of everyone. That's extremely difficult. What you need to do is tap from 0 and go to 1. Just say hello to people on the street. Like say hello to your fellow neighbor. Say hello to the people you walk past. Say good morning. You don't need to start a conversation with them. If you're too nervous, you literally don't even need to look at them. You can literally just say hello and walk past. It's the most easiest thing that you could possibly do. And once you get confident in doing this, you can progressively overload. Maybe next time, chat to a shopkeeper, because shopkeepers are literally paid to be nice to you. So of course, there's less risk of rejection. If you progressively overload and constantly put yourself in more difficult situations, which are just difficult enough so you can do them, but hard enough to the point where it's a little bit challenging, you're a little nervous to do it, but you can physically do it instead of just being in your head the entire time. That's where you want to get to, because then you're constantly improving. After you've progressively overloaded, you'll get to a point where you can basically have small talk with anyone. And this is the truth. being social really just comes down to progressively overloading. You progressively overload, and then you can have small talk with people. That's how it works. Now, there are tips to progressively overloading, which makes it easier. So, for example, something I often tell people to do is to do this narcissistic approach where you picture yourself as being better than everyone else. You see some girl on the street and you say that you are better than her in your mind. Obviously, don't say this in real life. And it sounds really narcissistic and rude and mean. But you just say this in your mind. You keep it to yourself. You say you're better, you're this, you have a better physique than her, you're physically stronger than her, you're better. And by doing this, you kind of change the framing, where rather than her being above you and you're you below, where you're like, I don't really want to bother her, she seems busy, she has her headphones in. Instead, you kind of picture it in this way, where you're, in a weird way, kind of like a king. You think the king cares about what the peasant thinks. So if you picture yourself in this kind of dynamic, of course you still need to be respectful, don't be some psychopath. But if you picture yourself like this, you kind of care a little less about what this other person is doing. You don't care about bothering them because you're better. So they should be more than happy to talk to you in your mind. That's how you make it so much more easier to talk to people and progressively overload. And you can make this dynamic simply by saying it in your head and giving yourself affirmations, which is basically saying positive things about yourself. So you know how those like weird feminists will say in front of a mirror, like weirdos, I'm an independent woman, I'm an independent woman, like that, like some weird bullshit. You can actually do something very similar, and it sounds cringe, and if someone were to see it, it would be cringe. But if you were to do this, and for the next month, I promise you, you'll see the results. You'll be more social. You'll have a smile on your face more often. I'm not telling you to say you're an independent woman. You don't turn into a tranny or anything. But I'm just telling you, say positive things about yourself. What are things that you like about yourself? Do you go to the gym? Okay, compliment yourself on your physique. Maybe it's not the best right now, but just compliment it because you're working on it. Are you trying to build a business to make money? Well, say that you're a future millionaire. Are you there yet? Probably not. But just say that because you're working on it. Anything you're working on, anything you're proud of, try and just affirm it. Say that you're this. You're confident. You're really good at talking to people. You are blessed by God. You are better than everyone. Just say stuff like this to yourself. Again, don't say this to people. Say this to yourself, and I promise you for the next month, you will notice the benefits of this. After you've progressively overloaded and you can have small talk, now there's a new territory. You get bored. I know, it's crazy. You go through all of this effort of learning how to talk to people. Now you can say hello to anyone at any time. It's easy now. But now you're bored of it. And it feels empty. Which is weird because, well, I just learned how to talk to people. I spent an entire month or two just learning how to talk to strangers, and now I'm bored. What the hell? What is this, Prince? This is a scam. The reason why you feel bored is because most likely, just like me, you aren't an extrovert. You're an introvert. You can have extroverted traits like saying hello to everyone, but you can still be introverted. And when you're introverted, you lose energy from just having small talk with strangers because it's just boring. And you just naturally don't like it, right? Small talk drains energy for introverts. So now there's a new stage where you need deep conversations. The types of conversations that you have with your friends where you just talk together, like without a big group, for 2 hours about some deep shit, some stories in your lives, and that kind of energizes you. That's what you need. And it's going to be quite difficult to have this with strangers. That's why I recommend just me turning strangers into friends. But you can even have these conversations with strangers. So there's a certain method that I use to have deep conversations with people, like transfer small talk to actual conversations that you enjoy. So you need to understand the concept of social gravity. Social gravity is essentially the idea of the things you are attracted to, the people, the conversation topics, all of that. in a social situation. It's sort of like a compass. If you talk to somebody and they talk about oxygen, they really like oxygen, they like talking about oxygen, how oxygen causes cancer, how it also has its benefits and its pros and cons. And you're looking at them and you're talking to them, and it's just so boring. You're repulsed by it, you're repelled. That's like your social gravity. You're like being pushed away. It's a compass. It just sucks. You don't want to talk about this. Who cares about oxygen? I'm already breathing it. Shut up. Now, what most people will do is they'll have this social gravity telling them don't do this, and they'll continue to do this. They'll continue to be polite and talk to them and talk about oxygen even when they don't care. So first of all, that's just rude because you aren't really fully paying attention because you don't care about oxygen. So you're wasting this guy's time and you're also not even having enjoyment from this conversation. So it's a lose-lose situation. What are you doing? What you need to do is follow your social gravity. You need to understand, okay, this conversation is boring. And what you need to do is literally completely ignore all of the social standards that have been placed upon you and just ask a random question unrelated to the situation at hand. And it's going to be difficult because you're kind of conditioned into believing that if somebody talks to you about something, you need to talk about that. But truthfully, you can be talking about oxygen and this bullshit and then just say, oh, by the way, have you gone to the gym before? Complete conversation shift. But if you do something like that and the answer, you've got your foot in the door, now you can start a conversation about the gym. Oh, you've been to the gym? Yeah, I was at the gym yesterday, by the way. I actually did a huge bicep day. Do you train biceps often? You see how this can turn into a conversation about something that you enjoy, and then you can say, oh, well, do you want to do a workout with me sometime? I think that would be really fun. You do a workout together, you're cheering for each other, get that last rep, come on, you can do it. You make a new friend, maybe go to a cafe, talk about some, I don't know what you talk about, fucking trauma. Yeah, your dad beat you up when you were 4, I don't know. Talk about some really nice stuff. Have a deep conversation, make a new friend, build connections. It just comes down to understanding what you want and talking about what you want. And there will be some cases where you do this, like you just ask a random question about a topic that's different, and they kind of respond blandly. You kind of tell they don't want to talk about it. They kind of seem immediately more lethargic when you discuss this topic. And then you kind of know, well, this isn't one of my people then. He's not interested in what I'm interested in. So social gravity is extremely important. You know what? I was calling it social gravity before, but that's a shit name. We're going to call it the social compass from now on. That makes so much more sense. It is a compass. It works like a compass. Who cares about gravity? Fuck gravity. Gravity is gay. So, follow your social compass. Don't ignore it. And when you do that, you can make new connections. You can talk more deeply about things, because when you talk about things that you enjoy, it's so much easier to talk about stuff. Personally, I quite enjoy self-improvement. If I talk to someone about self-improvement, there's so much I can talk about, rather than if I'm talking about oxygen and how oxygen causes cancer. I mean, maybe it's interesting. I find learning new things quite interesting. Maybe I think it's cool about how oxygen does this and this. But again, you know, I'm not going to stop breathing oxygen because it causes cancer or some bullshit. Bro, it's fine. I'm still going to breathe oxygen, so shut up. But you can see how when you talk about something that you enjoy, you just have infinite conversation topics. You can just talk on end. And that's what really revitalizes you in conversations, to the point where you don't lose your social energy. Because, I mean, extroverts, lucky them, they can just talk to people and have small talk about the most mundane tasks, and they'll have the most fun ever. Good for them. Personally, if I'm talking about me doing shopping on the weekend, it's just boring. I don't want to talk to you about my shopping trip. I don't care. It's bro, it's boring. It's useless. It's inane. I'm not an extrovert. I'm talking to you because I want something out of it. I want to talk about something fun. You know, I want to tell stories or hear your stories. I don't want to hear bullshit about how, how you bought oranges at the store. So if you're an introvert, this will apply deeply to you. If you're an extrovert and you still find having small talk draining and empty, then you're an introvert. There's no, I'm not an extrovert. I can't talk on your behalf, but I truly don't believe you can be extroverted and then talk to people without deep conversations and then find it boring, because then that's an introverted trait. So that just doesn't make sense. So if you do feel that learning how to be social, and now that you've got it, it's just boring and dull and empty, you need deep conversations. That's the second stage. Once you've acquired deep conversations, I doubt you'll feel empty anymore, but you may want to level up. You may have a vibrant social life now. You've made new friends in your environment, maybe your work environment, maybe your school, maybe your gym. You've made new friends because of your newfound social skills. But now you want to focus on cold approaching, gaining and acquiring women. And when it comes to that, in a weird way, it comes naturally. And it may sound a little silly, but when you have a vibrant social life, you naturally just have a weird magnetizing pull. People are attracted to you. Like, not like attracted, well, actually, yeah. People are attracted to you. They want to be around you. You're positive. You're the life of the party, of just, you have a big social group. People want to be around you. And when that happens, naturally, women also join that, right? And then you can have conversations with them. Now, I'm not the best at this. I don't practice cold approaching yet. I still just want to get completely maxed out at talking to any man at any time and having deep conversations, etc. I'm mainly talking to people older than me. I don't feel like it's the same as talking to people your age, especially if you're a teenager. So I can't necessarily say I'm like some cold approaching God. I'm not. This is something you kind of need to learn for yourself. I'm not at that level yet, I'll admit it. But I truly believe that if you have a vibrant social life with tons of people and you're having fun and you're smiling and you're joking around, there's going to be a woman who sees that and she's going to look over and smile at you because she finds it really interesting. Or you'll just be in a social mood and it'll be so much easier to talk to some girl who's in the corner, who's maybe looking at you and smiling and is literally asking you to talk to her. I hope this helped. And if you want to level up this process quicker, I do have my social protocol, link in the description. It will speed run your journey from getting from level 0 to level 2. And remember, consistency is over a lifetime. Bye-bye.